Here we go. What's up? Welcome back to another draft coverage episode. In this episode, we are covering rounds 2 and 3 of the Titans NFL draft year 2017 of our Lord and Savior Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. Here's what we did in the second round.
That just about got it, didn't it?
Yeah. I think we covered it pretty good.
Covered.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
right, so
moving on.
Yes, that was the Titans' second round.
Moving on to the third round, with pick number 72, we drafted Taywan Taylor, wide receiver out of Western Kentucky. So, Justin, what are your thoughts on drafting Taywan Taylor? We've already drafted a wide receiver previously in the draft with Corey Davis.
We're doubling up.
Already doubling up with our third pick in the draft.
It's like, hey, Marcus, you like receivers? Here's another one for you. You know, I did not see this pick coming. I didn't think we were going to take another wide receiver this early. I thought we would eventually just because we needed to fill out the roster. But with our first pick in the third round, already getting another receiver, I'm all for it. Give Marcus Mariota more weapons. I like it. I've done some research on him now, watched some highlights. He was another massively productive receiver in college. And another thing about these players, too, these are 4-year players that have spent 4 years playing college football, except for Adoree, I think, was a junior. But a lot of these players stayed in college through their senior years. And he's going to automatically come in, and I think he's going to be our Kendall Wright and hopefully be what Kendall Wright never really turned out to be for us. He's already taken the number 13 for him, too, so I think he's definitely going to... He might even be trying to change his name to Kendall Wright. But
yeah, talk about trying to forget the memories of Kendall Wright right away.
He's got the quickness, the good feet, good hands. He's got it all. He's got good speed as well. I think he's a guy we can also line up on the outside as well as the inside slot position. So he's versatile in that regard. I'm excited about this guy. Another receiver that put up huge numbers in college at a smaller school. So he dominated the college level. So hopefully that translates into the NFL game for us.
You mentioned that some of these guys are 4-year players that we drafted early because I think we're looking for them to step right in and produce in their first year. You know, people are already saying that, Corey Davis will be our starting number 1 wide receiver next year, and Taylor is going to be our number 3 with Rashard Matthews as number 2. So 2 rookies right away, starting in our receiving game, which is desperately needs some help. Now that is bouncing Tajay Sharp out of that top 3, which may give him a little more motivation, some competition, where he didn't really pan out to the type of receiver we wanted him to be last year, but he was a rookie, so he has time to grow.
He also kind of unfairly got a bunch of hype during the preseason, kind of coming up on the depth chart. He surpassed Dorial Green-Beckham, but he still put up 500 yards, 2 touchdowns, still good production for a 5th-round receiver.
But both Davis and Taylor are guys who can step right in and produce in their first year and possibly be starting by the time the season comes around. Okay. He is a little bit smaller for a wide receiver, only 5'11", so under 6 feet, but he does have some quickness and is very capable of mass production as seen at the college level. So giving Marcus Mariota some immediate weapons to start practicing with right away. So what grade would you give drafting Taywan Taylor? We did actually trade up to get him.
So that's a good point. Good point to remember. John Robinson really liked this guy, and he wanted to make sure that he made it to our team. So there's something in him that he really liked. So hopefully John Robinson is right about that. I like the pick. I looked at highlights. I think he's going to be a great pick. He's an A minus. I don't know what the minus is for, but I think the pick is really good.
Minus because that
just sounds right.
Yeah, all right. They can't all be
perfect.
Yeah, true. Next up in the third round, with the number 100, with the 100th pick overall, we drafted tight end Jonnu Smith out of Florida International. That's FIU. Jonnu. I know we lost Anthony Bazzano in the offseason, but we still got, Delaney Walker, Pro Bowl tight end, and Philip Supernall, very productive, hard-nosed guy.
Yeah, good role player. Supernall's not going to be one to probably become a number 1 tight end, but he does his job and does his job well. But all right, I'll be honest, Jonnu Smith, never heard of him, and I'm sure a lot of people never heard of him either coming out of Florida International. And I do know there were some other tight ends available that were graded higher than Jonnu Smith, but just another case of John Robinson seeing something in these players that he likes better than these NFL's draft experts and scouting guys that come up with these articles and mock drafts that have all these players graded. So, I mean, who knows? John Robinson may be right about Jonnu Smith, and he's actually one of the better tight ends in this draft. But I like it. He's a big guy, a big body. He kind of actually molds his game after Delaney Walker. He said so himself. So that's really, really encouraging to hear.
Good guy to look up to.
He's an athletic tight end. He can catch the ball. He's got speed. I think there were some questions about his blocking coming out of the draft, but I mean, you can work on that. I mean, that's coachable. Once Russ Grimm and Mike Mularkey get up in there and be like, "Yo, this is how you do it, buddy." I like this pick, and I think he could very well become our number 2 tight end at some point during the season, and kind of run some 2 tight end sets with him and Delaney Walker. It gives our offense just another dimension, another set formation to work with, because Mularkey loves using his tight ends. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited about his potential.
We do use a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets even. There were some games last year where we were using 3 tight end sets. Yep. Sad to see Anthony Fasano go. I will say, if there is cons about this pick, it was kind of weird that he's a very similar prototype player to Delaney Walker. Like, are we already looking for Delaney Walker replacement to fill that role? Because we could have used maybe a little more blocking in that tight end. Someone with a little more blocking background as opposed to like a receiving threat. I'm not necessarily knocking it for that reason, just kind of playing devil's advocate. As well as we do have Delaney Walker and Philip Supernall. Tight end wasn't an immediate
Mead.
Yes, tight end wasn't an immediate or a necessary need that we needed to address, like especially this early in the draft when we have other areas. And I would have liked to see probably a little more defense here. Maybe snag a nice another corner or another inside linebacker, which we ended up getting to later. But could be a little high to draft a tight end at this point, but. End of the day, in John Robinson, I trust.
In J-Rob, we trust. And kind of to your point, most mock drafts had Jonnu Smith as like a 5th round, 4th round tight end, and we got him in the 3rd with the top, I guess technically a top 100 pick. He was 100. So by most scouts and experts' eyes, that was a very high pick to reach for Jonnu Smith there. So take that what you will, but I think J-Rob knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I trust. I think the point of all this draft is we trust in J-Rob. Mm-hmm. But it did seem like a little bit of a reach, especially at the position that we pretty much already had, solidified a starter.
At least a starter-wise.
But we do use a lot of tight end sets, multiple tight end sets. So, he's definitely going to have playing time right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Just like all the other our top 3 picks.
Yeah. So all 4 of the picks that we have covered so far are kind of expected to come in and contribute immediately to the team. No like huge, really depth guys. I mean, these guys, all 4, I'm expecting to see a lot of playing time for us.
Yeah, should see a lot of action out of these guys. Anyways, a grade for Jonnu Smith. Let me guess, you're gonna give him another A.
I mean, I would love. I didn't give Adoree an A. I gave him a B+.
Yeah,
I'll give Jonnu a B. The only knock, I guess, is things that you had been discussing, that it was possibly a reach, especially with us still needing some help at cornerback. I know we must be counting on a lot of our younger cornerbacks to play well for us this year, but cornerback was still a need. We could have found a good, solid young corner. But we did need a little bit of depth at tight end, and I think Jonnu Smith can provide that.
I mean, I think tight end was solidifying some depth at the position was on our list of needs going into the draft. I just didn't see it as that high of how we drafted. Get a cornerback, get possibly an inside linebacker, something like that. But like I said, I'm going to trust in J-Rob. So that's our thoughts and reactions and grades to how we drafted in the 2nd round. And the 3rd round. Next video, we'll cover the later rounds 4 through 7, and give our take on those players. So, thank you for watching. As always, let us know what you thought of our grades and our take on these players, and we want to hear what your take was. Thank you.
Taywan Taylor.
Taiwan Lannister. Taywan Taylor. Wide receiver. Out of.
Do you remember?
Nope. Now, Western Kentucky. I knew it was red and white.